Joe Kastner here to help you if you're like me and making a charcuterie board or attempting to make a cheese board for the holidays. Good to have you here, Joe.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So I feel like this is so, like any party I go to now, everyone's got a cheese board.
Yeah.
And I always am like checking out their game, their cheese board game.
For sure, yeah. You got to make sure they got the good stuff on there.
And France 44 always has good stuff. You got everything there, from
Yes.
the jams, the jellies, the figs.
Definitely. Yep.
You
We got
name
the
it.
cured meat, we got the cheeses, hard cheese, soft cheese, we got it all.
So I feel like we have to get down to the basics. It starts with a basic plain board.
Yep.
What do you start layering? And because like this looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a piece of art.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Yeah, you know, when I start building a board like this, you know, you can kind of start wherever, you know, just getting stuff on there, filling it up. I like to start with bigger pieces, you know, like soft cheese. Those are really good to kind of anchor down a corner, having your little cups of, you know, honey, pickles, jams in there, and then kind of building around that. And then I just sort of fill it in with nuts, some dried fruit, corn nuts, fresh fruit. That's one of my favorites. Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
seen corn nuts in a while.
Yeah, yep. They're not
Classic.
the ranch ones, but they're still pretty good.
Don't eat them in a car with people. That stinks.
Right.
This is great though. So start with the big and kind of fill in the empty spots with the smaller
Yep.
pieces. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
definitely. Start to work around it. And working with levels and layers is always really good too. You know, like trying to build up a little bit, stacking cheese, you know, kind of having a
Cheese
a
river.
wave. Yes, exactly. And, you know, even this
I
one
love
here,
this.
just flip-flopping the cheeses kind of creates just a different dynamic to the board, a little more visually appealing that way.
So when people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, because I'm always looking at the cheese aisle and it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And then you're like, is it too stinky? Is it too dry? Like, it can be a lot. So how do you pick and choose to have
Yeah,
diversity in your board?
Some people kind of have an idea of what they want to go for with the cheese board. A lot of times it just comes down to trusting your cheesemonger, going in and just asking the person working behind the counter what they think is really good and what they think will work for your taste or kind of the crowd that you're looking to serve there.
Okay, so what kind of cheese are we working with
Yeah, so
on
this
here?
is a little bit of running the gamut here. You know, we've got some really good crowd pleasers like Manchego over here, classic Spanish sheep's cheese. This one is Pleasant Ridge Reserve, which is one of our most popular Alpine styles from Wisconsin. And then soft cheese, Hidden Falls from Nurserin, Minnesota here, a little soft sheep's cheese, which you don't see a ton of around here.
Right, no.
Those are some of my favorites. And then we got a blue cheese on here, you know, those are get a little
Stinky.
more
The
challenging.
stinkier the better, I
Yep,
say.
Yeah, for sure. Some people like that, some people not so much.
Right.
But you know, you put a little honey with it, a little jam to sweeten it up, and then you're creating a whole different flavor that might, you know, just make a lover out of a hater here.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. And if you have different meats as well, which I
Yep.
love. I noticed your salami
Yep,
roses.
gotta have a little salami rose. Yeah, salami's honestly one of my favorite things to style. You know, cheese, you're kind of stuck with, it doesn't fold, it doesn't bend, where salami, you can do whatever you want with this. You know, roll it up into a rose, fold it into a little wavy pattern here. Sometimes I'll just fold them up and you can even make a little like ring around the entire board just with little quarter
piece of
quarter
salami.
circles of salami, yeah.
And then different Italian style or
Yeah,
what kind
this
of
one
meat
is
that?
this one is speck here, which is very similar to prosciutto, but this one is crusted in herbs and then smoked. So it has a little bit of a smoky flavor, kind of a different chew to it, and we just really like speck at the shop because it styles a little better.
Right.
It's a little sturdier, whereas prosciutto can get a little stringy and a little
Right,
more.
and you're biting your bread with the prosciutto.
yeah,
you're
and
like,
the whole thing comes out.
You got to
yeah.
cover your mouth.
Exactly.
The various spreads. I can see like a grainy mustard.
Yep, and these are house made at France 44 here. A little stone ground mustard, our house fig jam, and then we've got some little cornichons, mini gherkin pickles, and a little local honey from Ames Farm here, which, you know, honey on a cheese board is just classic. you know.
Right, and it's a showstopper. It is.
absolutely.
So let's talk. You're gonna showcase some cheese that you're gonna place. And a
Yeah.
lot of people. My husband's from Quebec. He's French. He loves cheese,
Sure.
and like he introduced so many different cheeses, and we never ate the rind on like
Right.
a brie or a camembert.
Sure.
Now we do. Now he's like, you gotta eat that. But
Yeah.
some like this piece, it's wax.
Right.
You don't eat that.
Don't eat wax. Yeah, that's not good.
When it comes to rinds or no rinds, because you're gonna leave this one on, correct?
Yes, I will leave the rind on here, but I would not to sample the rind with this. You know, with most cheese, the rind, you know, if you ask a cheese purist, they'll say the rind is where the true flavor of a cheese is. With a lot of these soft and bloomy rind cheeses, I say absolutely go for the rind. You know, that's going to be some of the bigger flavor there. With some of these aged cheeses,
It's a little tough.
yeah, if you want to try it, go for it. But really, that's I tend to avoid those normally.
Okay, if
yeah.
it's dry, throw it out.
Yeah, and then one like this. This is a wax rinded Gouda from Belgium, which you see a lot of those. It's kind of of a way to, you know, preserve the cheese and help it age. But yeah, this one is just dipped in a wax paraffin coating on the outside. Definitely don't eat that. But what I'll do with this one here is kind of
it's pretty soft.
chop that off here, and then I like to just kind of come in, scoop this cheese right out of the rind here.
Do you guys have pre-made boards at France 44?
We do.
Okay, I was like, if someone doesn't want to do the work, you can just
Well, I say
order.
pre-made. You do have to order it ahead of time.
Right.
But yeah, we have some that are like we can whip up really quick too. But yeah, we do all sorts of different sizes too. Some that are smaller, shareable for 2 to 4 people, and then some that go bigger, even than this, for 20 to 30 people. So lots of different options. With one like this, I'm just doing something called scoring the cheese, where I'm just kind of making some small, not cutting it through all the way, just kind of getting it started here. I'm going to go the opposite way over here. And that just sort of gives the cheese somewhere to crumble here without doing, you know, like cookie cutter, perfect little pieces here. So I'm just going to pop that rind right in there and start to kind of break this up a little bit.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah,
Because, it looks more rugged.
Yeah,
and rough.
exactly. Not like I just, you know, it's like I didn't
Cheese
even
cubes
plan
from your
this.
grad
Like,
party?
Exactly. Like this
Or
just sort
wedding?
of happened here. And I'm just going to take these little
Cheese
bits,
magic.
and they're just going to kind of fall right out of the
that.
rind here.
That's great.
And then you've got some perfect little cubes just to scoop up right there.
And the rind's more of a decorative, like.
Exactly,
Check me
yeah.
out.
It's kind of just a little showpiece on there.
And what kind of cheese is this? This one looks.
Yeah, this
aged.
is one of my favorites too. This is an aged goat's cheese from New York.
Oh, wow.
Finger Lakes Gold is the name of this one, from the Finger Lakes area. With a piece of cheese like this is a little more standard, I'd say. This is kind of what you'll normally get when you get a hunk of hard cheese, something that's triangular shaped and a little wedge like this. When I'm slicing a piece of cheese like this for a board, I generally take this top part of the rind off, and that's just done. I don't want that.
Get rid of it.
Yep, and then I'm kind of going down with the rind at the back here, because that gives you kind of a little piece to hold on to, something to pick up there, and keeps that rind distribution even for everybody here. So then I would just go down, make some little triangle cuts like this. And once you have pieces like this, you can kind of do whatever you want here. You know, you can do the alternating pattern. You can kind
I
of
like that.
stack them up, and I really like doing the little circle like that, where you just kind of
here.
you just arrange them in a little pattern around here, and then tuck the last one of the circle underneath it, so it looks like it's just kind of growing upon itself.
Wow, these are all great tips. Also, I remember hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you have a cheese board, you want it to you put it out and it can stay out.
Absolutely.
You want it to be room temp essentially,
Yeah,
right?
that's one of my favorite things about it too. Yeah, you can just put this board out, and then it's just going to sit there all day and honestly just taste better and better. Room temperature is right where you want your cheese to be. It's made closer to that temperature, and it's going to taste like its truest self once it's warm. You know, right out of the fridge. Cold cheese generally just tastes cold and like the refrigerator. So yeah, room temp is right where you want it. Same with meat too. Those flavors are just going to waken up at room temperature.
Because none of them are smoked.
Exactly. Yep. And they'll just taste better and better the longer they sit there, which is a great thing. It makes it really easy for holiday get-togethers.
Yeah, I love that. You can just put it out in the morning and forget about it until the next day.
Exactly.
And then-
Yep.
I don't know if it's still good, but
Yeah.
so talk about France 44. You guys you're going to be open up until Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Until 4.
Yes, Christmas Eve till 4, but we're open every day until then. Going to be open all weekend. Yeah, come on in. We got your cheeses, your meats. We also have a wine and spirits store right next door, so you can get all of your libations for the holidays
pairing.
here. Absolutely, yeah, lots of good pairings, beer and wine pairings. And we have a new event space that was new this last year too. So we're offering classes and private events, corporate events, parties and stuff like that. So really trying to highlight that and have people come and check out our classes, because I think we do a really good job on them. They're super fun.
You said caviar and champagne coming up.
Yep.
You have one in January that's singing and eating cheese.
With a choir I sing with. It's going to be a choral accompanied cheese course, which I'm very excited about. We're doing, knife skills, baguette making. We're doing wine and cheese of Italy coming up.
Cool.
So many different things for the foodies or just the people who are interested in food in your life.
I love it. All right, so if you're making a board, head over to France 44 in Edina. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate the time,
Thank you.
Joe.
Yeah,
Happy holidays.
Super fun. Yeah, same to you. Thanks so much.
All right, I'm going to dig into this cheese. For that, we're going to say goodbye. Happy holidays, everybody.